I've got to be honest, I am stoked for the next Dishonored game. I'm Charles C, and welcome to this installment of Honest Thoughts. I make it no secret that Dishonored is one of my favorite titles out there, and I've been looking forward to a sequel since I first beat the game back in 2013. Initially, I had planned to do a video all about the potential of Dishonored sequel, what it should consist of, and my thoughts on Dishonored becoming more of an ongoing franchise. But then, while we were still developing our channel and before we were prepared to put anything out yet, E3 happened, and Bethesda's legendary showcase confirmed that a Dishonored sequel was indeed going to happen, and in fact slated to be released sometime in the spring of 2016. Now here we are, over a month later, and not much has surfaced about Dishonored 2 outside of what we were initially given. And for us Dishonored fans, it's left a lot of room for speculation. So in this video, I'm going to go ahead and go over some of my hopes, my fears, and my expectations for Dishonored 2. And I'm going to take a look at how this particular installment can be very, very important for the Dishonored brand as a whole. So without further ado, let's get to it. These are my honest thoughts. Now, I'm fully aware that there aren't as many steadfast Dishonored fans out there like myself as there are for something like Fallout or BioShock or something along those lines. However, I've always seen potential in Dishonored as an ongoing series. Everything from its premise to its gameplay begs to be explored, and it looks like Arcane Studios has realized that. The potential for new and original premises and evolving and expanding core gameplay are very, very real with this IP. But I do have to admit, this does lead me to my biggest fear for the sequel, and that's actually a lack of originality, at least in the story department. Here's what I mean. Amongst the very little that we know about this game, we do know that Emily Caldwin, who, if you remember from the first title, was the daughter of royalty, lost her throne, is accused of assassination, and has managed to obtain the power of the Outsider. Now, if you know anything about Dishonored, you can probably pick up on how closely this parallels Corvo's story from the first game. We even have another plague going on in the background again, this time in the form of parasites instead of rats, and what looks to be a corrupt government official who may have obtained his position by framing Emily. Sound familiar? Although this much admittedly is just speculation based completely on how the trailer presents the character. It could wind up being nothing like that. You might wonder why this is such a concern for me, and the answer is pretty simple. Given what we know about the premise of the game, the story might end up being just a copy and paste of the original title, at least to some extent. Although we can be fairly certain that the story will have a little more variation than that, with the inclusion of a grown-up Emily as a playable character, probably the main protagonist in this title, and the sense of technological and scientific advancement present throughout the game. But all of this, while it will likely serve to enhance the atmosphere, is mainly going to expand variation in the gameplay. An important aspect, and one that I am hoping to see expanded on, but it's not the only one, especially not in the first sequel in this franchise. This will be a title that will serve to cement expectations for future games and installments into the minds of gamers going forward. And so Dishonored finds itself at something of a crossroads here. Will it become known for variation in both story and gameplay? Will it become known for giving us interesting and new settings with each installment? Or will it become known for telling the same narrative over and over again, similar to Call of Duty but on a smaller scale? Now, I recognize that this is very unlikely, but nonetheless, Arcane Studios must tread carefully here. And I do hope that when I play the game, I'm going to find that the similarities end here and that there will be enough variation in narrative to keep everything interesting. It's my hope that Dishonored 2 will be a step up from the original title, and that it will expand on everything good that the first initially laid out, like a sequel should. And thankfully in the gameplay department, this actually does look like it's going to be the case. Again, it's only a bit to go on, but based off what we've seen, Emily's abilities look similar enough to the familiar style of gameplay that we're used to, but it looks like we're going to have plenty of new gadgets, all kinds of new abilities, and just a generally interesting new angle on the gameplay. I'm also hoping for a new kill cam system to be integrated, but we'll see. I just really hope that the game takes full advantage of the world that it's in. I want to see more environmental things I can interact with, maybe more varying paths, and possibly even a few more endings. And here's the thing, the original didn't do a bad job with any of this, but that's why I hope to see every aspect expanded upon. Because if it is, then we really have nowhere to go but up. And really quickly, I do want to talk about the lore a little bit. We got bits and pieces of the lore scattered about the game, all very well done by the way, but nothing that really delved too deeply into it. It's a seemingly simple thing to hope for, but I am wanting a little more lore put into this next title. I want to know about the inner workings and the background history of this world. Like I've been saying, I really do want to see Dishonored become a full-on, continuing franchise, and I think that these are some of the most important steps it's going to need to take in order to do that. So here's my closing thoughts. Dishonored is a fantastic IP with all kinds of potential, and this new sequel has the potential to take a lot of really good steps forward or to take a lot of missteps if Arcane Studios doesn't tread lightly. Do I expect the game to be some kind of huge disappointment or for any of these negative scenarios that I've depicted here to come true? No. At least not in a worst case scenario sort of way. I expect that Dishonored 2 will likely be the kind of expansive sequel that the franchise needs to continue making more installments. I just want to caution Arcane Studios from relying too heavily on the same formula from the first game, especially in the story department. This title needs to set a good tone for the rest of the franchise, and like I said, it needs to earn gamers' trust and put a good image of the game in their minds going forward. Ultimately, I believe that that's what's going to make Dishonored go from one-off cool title to fully fledged, ongoing franchise. So there you have it, my honest thoughts on the potential for Dishonored 2. Now let me ask you, are you as big a Dishonored fan as myself, or are you a little more indifferent to it? And what do you make of this new sequel? Leave a comment down below, and if you like what you saw here, click that like button and consider subscribing for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Charles C. Patterson, and I'll see you next time on Cleverbox.